What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego. Where y'all at? Where y'all from? Tell me where you at. Where you at? Where you from? From the Bay. Go dumb when I. Let's get it. Where y'all at? Where y'all from? City, state, zip. Where y'all at? Where y'all from? My dude Hulk Bradley, he said he finally got the notification. Notification gang gang. One second, yo. Long Beach, Netherlands, LA, Nasty Natty, California in the building. What? Coatesville, PA in the building. What? 610. You can get a taste. She can get a taste. New media. Y'all about to get a taste. You already know, man. Shout out to H-Town. I see him. Yo, cut the beat. What up, Fight World? You know, I wanted to do a quick stream. You know, we just talking about it. We closing the year strong. I got to ride out. Got to grind out. You mad that a Mexican is better than you? What? What are they, what do these dudes be talking about? Mad that a Mexican is better than me? What does that even mean, bro? Better than me in what? What Mexican? What are you talking about? Ivan Rodriguez. What are you even talking about, bro? You're about to get blocked. Anyway, Canelo Alvarez fight week. It's kind of in the doldrums. Like, I'm not, you know. Oh, he's talking to someone else. Oh, I thought he was saying me. I'm like, I didn't even, what? Anyway, it doesn't feel like a Canelo fight week. You know, what happened to all these dudes that said, oh, Dazn puts Showtime out of business. Showtime's going out. This doesn't even feel like a fight week. I'm not, Benavidez, Canelo, I'm not worried about that. Canelo already said he's going back to 160. Don't see him staying at 168. So for me to talk about it would be a waste of time. You know, he's not going to fight Caleb Plant, Jose Uzcategui winner. You know, Bob Arum just tweeted today that Zordo Ramirez, Jesse Hart both will beat Canelo, and they're down for the fight. You know, that's a little bit of shameless plug on behalf of Bob Arum's verified Twitter. No disrespect to Rocky, but who is he? That's what I'm saying. See, I'm telling you, all that stuff, all that shoot 'em up shit y'all be talking, you know, all that stuff Eddie Hearn was saying, like, yeah, we got the biggest stars, this shit, you know, Showtime's going out of business in the next 11, 12 months. Well, you know, the biggest stars, it's more than, I told y'all this, like, bro, I don't know why God keeps blessing me, but I keep telling y'all the same shit, and then we see it come true. Like, it's uncanny. You got the biggest stars, that's cool, but I told you, the matchups are imperative. It's imperative. It's like who he's fighting. It can't just be, you know, because you see, Canelo is a star for sure. He's a good fighter. AJ's a good fighter, but, you know, you'll see. If AJ fights Dillian White next instead of, you know, Wilder Fury, which it doesn't look like he can fight them now because they're going to probably do a rematch, you know, and if he doesn't fight Luis Ortiz or even a Gerald Miller and then they recycle a fight, maybe it does decent in the UK. But as far as DAZN needs a hit. They need a hit like a fiend, you know. They need a hit like a crackhead. They you know, they really need a hit. DAZN hasn't had a hit. Like, You know, like you know me, I just always keep it real in this boxing game. And see, this is the thing. They can't X me out the game. You know, like no matter what, they can't, you know, they can't control it. They can't control it. Like I'm real. You know, I don't have no batteries in my back. I get to talk boxing, unfiltered, uncut, and give you my honest opinion. I always do it professionally. Always do it with respect. You know, you can't threaten me with like, oh, you're not getting this exclusive or credentials. You know, I run the game. You know, like what? I don't. You know, I don't rely on any one thing. We diversify. So, you know, if somebody was just angry at me because I'm giving my honest opinion, then so be it. You know, we got a variety of different things we do over here, but you know, it's all respectful. You know, it's all professional. I'm just telling you what I see. The fight for Canelo, it just doesn't feel that big. It doesn't feel like the promotion is behind it. You know, a lot of you guys, I told you about the Dazn, the Dazn special that they had, and at the time, a lot of y'all haven't watched it. How many of you guys have watched the whole thing now? The Canelo Rocky Fielding journey. Be honest. Let's vote. You know, I just like to get a feel. See, that's what I'm saying. Like on my channel, we keep it so real. I don't have to falsify. You guys, you know, tell me what it is, real or not. You know, I always appreciate that. I'm not like blocking that out. How many of you guys watch Journey to Canelo, Rocky Fielding on DAZN, either DAZN app or DAZN YouTube? Sergio watched it. Okay. So Sergio watched it. Vote. I'm curious. I want to know how many people. I've not seen one ad about this fight. Okay. That DAZN special was whack. So Alex Lopez watched it. I watched it. Ego. Nope, not me. Who is Rocky Fielding? Didn't watch it. Keep voting. I'm just curious. You know, thumbs down. Ivan Rodriguez said me. I didn't even know they had a special. Hector Sedano. You know, so it looks like kind of a mixed bag. I couldn't even finish 5 minutes. See? No, nah. You know, so far off the eye test, it looks like more people said no, you know, in this little gap. I watched it. Nope. Canelo will most likely fight Lemieux next. Narrator was horrible. See, that's what I'm saying. That narrator, it didn't even really fit for boxing. HBO does great. But the thing is, I've always kept it so real with you guys. Like I told you, HBO in terms of boxing commentary, they miss me a lot of times, except for the fighters that did commentary. You know, Max Kellerman used to have really good commentary, but then he kind of like seemed company man and would switch up, so he became kind of iffy to me. You know, Harold Letterman's scorecards were horrible towards the end of HBO. Jim Lampley been biased, you know. Anti-Gotti list and all this bullshit. You know, the best commentators on HBO were fighters. I'm not really interested in Canelo Lemieux, and to me, if Canelo fights even Triple G, but I'd rather see Canelo Triple G3 than Canelo Lemieux at this point. Listen, I don't care. Like, see, but this is what people had inclinations about and had fears about. I don't want to see Canelo in a bunch of middle of the road type of fights that don't really prove anything just because he's off a pay-per-view. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like, oh, he's off pay-per-view. Be lucky you're only paying $9.99 a month for this. So, you know, we gonna feed you what we want to feed you. You get what I'm saying? Because if that was the case, I'd rather see him on pay-per-view, but fighting the adequate names that make sense. Not this, oh, I'm the supreme A-side and you get what we give you because, you know, now you're not paying $75. You'd rather pay $9.99. Listen, at the end of the day, for me, I can't speak for everybody and everybody's finances. I'm not Floyd Mayweather, but I'd rather pay for quality. I'd rather go to a nice Brazilian steakhouse than Applebee's. You know, I'd rather get a steak from a nice Brazilian steakhouse or something like that. You know, shout out to my people. You know, I'd rather go to a nice Brazilian steakhouse than go to Applebee's just because it's cheaper. You know, so $9.99, that's cool. Get Canelo off, but I don't want to see it at the expense of the fights that fans want. we don't get because we're paying the cheaper price. So now we just have to settle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think the quality of the matchup should be diminished because it's only $9.99 as opposed to $75. Do you feel what I'm saying? And obviously he has to first of all, he has to get past Rocky Fielding. Most people picture him to do that. Rocky Fielding has been stopped before, but he is big. It's a new weight class. Canelo looks like he has a cut under his eye or some shit. So I don't know if he had some rough sparring. I don't know what that's about. So, maybe these things come into play. But if Canelo gets past Rocky Fielding like he's favored to do, this is going to be real interesting to see who he decides. Daniel Jacobs is going to be there. If Canelo fights Daniel Jacobs, who Oscar De La Hoya says they want to make that fight, then I'm good with that. That's a good fight. That's a good fight for DAZN. You see, I don't care about networks and who, a good fight's a good fight. Canelo, Daniel Jacobs, I'm with it. That's a unification. Daniel Jacobs is deserving. Canelo versus Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, I'm with it. Unification. Canelo versus Jermall Charlo, I'm with it. That's a mandatory. I really, really, truly don't really have much interest in Canelo versus Golovkin. And in my honest opinion, mark this video, bookmark it. I really feel like before one of these black fighters on Murderers Row or even Billy Joe Saunders gets an opportunity with Canelo, I really feel like they would motion towards Canelo versus Triple G3 if Golovkin goes to Lemieux. I mean, if he goes to DAZN, or if they can make the fight with whatever network he goes to, or Lemieux. And to me, I don't think that's the right move. And I'm telling you, I don't know everything and all that, but I know the sport. I deal with the fans directly, routinely. And DAZN is they're taking financial L's if they don't make the right fights, period. There's no other way around. Like, for a fact, they will take an L if they're paying Canelo what they're reported to pay Canelo for Rocky Fielding. That already, you're already taking a loss there for sure. If you're paying Canelo 20 mil to 36 mil or whatever for Rocky Fielding, you're taking a loss. Because if that fight was on pay-per-view, it would not generate anywhere near the value that it would require to give Canelo that type of that would garner that type of payday for Canelo. No way. Because the Golovkin fight did over $1 million. The Cotto fight did 900,000. Julio Cesar Chavez, who is a Mexican fighter on Cinco de Mayo weekend in Vegas, did over $1 million. People haven't heard of Rocky Fielding in America. Rocky Fielding is not like an established fighter in New York, and he's not even a fighter with I'm not saying there's no guys from the UK, but you got to look at the New York population. If Canelo was fighting like Conor McGregor in New York, then that could be big, because there's a big Irish population out there. I was there for St. Patrick's Day for Golovkin fought Jacobs, and then the day before Mick Connellan fought Irish fighter, fought in his pro debut or whatever, and Conor McGregor walked him out, stuff like that. So, that would even make sense. But Rocky Fielding, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it do the type of numbers and generate the type of interest where Canelo would have got $20 to $30 million to fight him. Because I don't even think he made that fighting James Kirkland. And James Kirkland was more established in America than Rocky Fielding. See, I think Golden Boy... See, I'm telling you, a lot of these promoters, they overvaluing the fighters. The fighters could be big, but the game is different with streaming and the ways to go about, the way people go about streaming. Listen, I tell you guys all the time, if it's in your heart, then, support it. If it's meaningful for boxing, support it. I never said nothing else other than that. But we know the reality of it. Not everyone, they said, I don't know if it's true, but they said 10 million people streamed Wilder versus Fury. I don't know. That seems kind of high, but I don't know. That's what I heard. So you know how the game goes. So people, you got to make it make an event. Now, even though this is not pay-per-view, you're still asking people around the holidays to come out of pocket. And like I said, I just haven't seen the buzz growing. It's that simple. You know, I mean, who's talking about Canelo? Like, people are still talking about Wilder Fury more than I see Canelo. You know, I've seen better promotion for the Charlo brother fight in New York closer to Christmas than I have for this. Because I was watching football, the Buccaneers and the Cowboys game, and they have Fox commercials. There's a on Twitter I seen they have a one-on-one Fox sit down with the Charlo brothers, and the host is Mike Coppinger, who works with Ring TV also. So I seen like little ads, like, you know, a screen or a picture or whatever saying that was coming up. I ain't really seen nothing like that. You know, people talking about Deontay Wilder in his recent interviews, like with Joe Rogan on the podcast and stuff like that. His recent interviews with TMZ, that has gained more traction than I've seen with anything Canelo this week. Wilder versus Joe Rogan, and Wilder's interview, he said he wanted to play Creed's son. Clubber Lang's son. And then he talked about Floyd Mayweather was hating on him. All that Wilder shit is getting more like publicity off the heels of the Tyson Fury fight than I have seen for Canelo. See, he said, when is Canelo's fight? See, this is bad, man. Canelo fights this Saturday, December 15th. This is bad, people. And like I said, Eddie was running around telling people Dazn, it was, you know, putting people out of business. Not so fast, Eddie, because this fight is not really even, like, put it this way. How is your biggest star, they've already fought on Dazn, and I understand it's new, but they've already fought on Dazn, and there hasn't been no monumental fights on there. Canelo hasn't even had a big fight on Dazn. His biggest fights are obviously Mayweather, Cotto, Chavez, 2 Golovkin fights, all of which didn't happen on Dazn. So Canelo hasn't even given Dazn a huge fight. So, like you see in the title, Dazn needs a hit. They need a hit like a Fiend. You know, they need a type of fight that, like Broner Pacquiao even. That is a type of fight, in my opinion, that would have been good for, like, if it was on an app like Dazn, because it's big enough to make people curious enough to get this app. You know, I'm a boxing fan, so what I like and what I would support and what I would do for boxing, and I make money in this game, you know, is different. The lengths I will go to make sure I watch a fight. I know that it's not the same for everybody. Like I said, I make money in the boxing, so I don't have no part. I never had no problem supporting boxing. But I know the reality of it is not everyone's going to do that unless the fight's calling their name and it's like something that, you know, they want to watch in, you know, true HD and support and stuff like that. There's a lot of people like that. And like I said, the World Boxing Super Series, I like the tournament. You know, certain divisions, obviously. I like the one with Nonito Donaire and Inui, and the 140 divisions, probably the ones that are the most interesting. You know, cruiserweight, I like Tabiti being added to it, but I thought he should have been on season 1, because now you got Usyk with all the belts and he just knocked out Tony Bellew. So I just feel like the person at cruiserweight is still going to be second fiddle to Usyk, no matter who wins. Canelo went life and death with Trout. Yeah, that was a couple years ago, though. That was before Mayweather. But, you know, just listen to what I'm saying. Smash the like button while we at it. Come on, man. We the livest live stream. Canelo Alvarez he just got a record-setting deal, which made headlines. That was big. And this is his first fight in that new deal. Yet his fight is not really even being talked about all too much. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, this is his new home. It's a new situation. And I haven't really seen too much buzz. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen everybody. But, like, let's say, shout out to my dude, Blue Blood Sports TV or something. He lives in New York. But did they credential him? Did he, you know, is he there? Did he go to, you know, and that's the thing. I'm telling you, these promoters, I'm just speaking. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. So I don't know if he wanted to go or whatever, but I know that he lives over there. The fights happen in New York, and I know Golden Boy is weird with the credentials, shit like that. Like, we don't, who's Blue Blood Sports, so maybe he did, maybe didn't. I'm just assuming, but I haven't seen anything from him from the fight week, So it's like, who do you have covering the fight? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying like one person's the end all be all, but I'm just saying like a lot of the cats that we see that cover the fights and put out a bunch of videos, are they up there? Like all them dudes from LA, all the LA cats, are they up there? We know ES News, he'll be there, but who else is there covering this? I don't know. You guys tell me. So I just feel like DAZN, they really got to get a hit like ASAP, because if you know anything about business, there's no company that could just perpetually dish out money and pay salaries and acquire Canelo and Andrade and possibly Daniel Jacobs and Triple G and just pay salaries, and they're not getting anything back from it, in terms of big events. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like Gerald Miller and Dog Bandinu, like how much money did they come out with on that particular fight? Do you get what I'm saying? Like that whole card. Brandon Rios was coming off a loss. Haymon Alvarez is considered, Canelo's brother. That's why it's funny that Eddie Hearn says all this stuff. Like Gerald Miller, his original promoter, Cohen, they say that they're doing a card in New York, right? In January. It's supposed to be Andrade and Gerald Miller. I don't know who Andrade's going to fight, but I know it's not going to be Canelo, because Canelo's fighting in December, mid-December. So it's not going to be him. I doubt it's Jacobs, because they're friends, and they said they don't really want to fight each other if they don't have to, or straight away or whatever. So who's it going to be? You think Triple G is going to fight Andrade in January? Doubtful. Billy Joe Sanders, I don't know if he's going to get licensed. So, you got to look at it. Who's, for that January 18th New York show, who's Andrade going to fight? And then as far as Gerald Miller, they're talking about him fighting for the WBA interim heavyweight belt or some shit against Trevor Bryan. Who is that? No, I'm being real. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. They're talking about Gerald Big Baby Miller versus Trevor Bryan. Who is that? No, I really want answers, because I don't know who that is. Like, I'm not being condescending. I don't know Trevor Bryan. I know Trevor Noah. And Brian Austin Green. Like, I don't know who Trevor Bryan is. Do you guys know Trevor Bryan? See, y'all playing. Y'all not answering these questions. I'm really searching for answers. Like, I want to know. Have you guys heard of a heavyweight named Trevor Bryan? Like, I don't know where he's from. I don't know if he's a country western singer. Like, I don't know who that is. He might be nice with it. I just don't know him personally. King Flacco says, I have no idea, bro. But see, that's the rumor from Cohen of who Gerald Miller might fight on that DAZN card. So, like I said, with fights like that, I just don't see what, DAZN, like I said, they need a Broner. Like, do you guys understand? Hold on. All these motherfuckers, they say, oh, you're pom-pomming for PBC and Showtime, as opposed to just being realistic as to what you're seeing. It has nothing to do with pom-pomming for Haymon or Showtime. They're putting on bigger cards. That's the reality of it. Wilder fought Fury. You know, the whole card wasn't, you know, the greatest, but it has some names on it. But the main event delivered. In January, Broner's fighting Pacquiao, which is a casual's, like, wet dream, you know, in terms of two names you know and all that, and stylistically. They're talking about putting Marcus Brown versus Badu Jack on the undercard. And Rigondeaux is going to fight in January. So either on that card or the Caleb Plant versus Jose Uzcategui card with my dude Joey Spencer. They're going to put Rigondeaux on one of those cards. Or maybe even the Keith Thurman versus Josecito Lopez. You know, Keith Thurman, it's not the biggest fight at welterweight, but he's been gone for 2 years. So people just want to see, you know, how he fits. Is this the same Keith Thurman? Because they're looking forward to possible Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia winner, Terrence Crawford, you know. So, of course, that's a big fight because people want to see what Crawford looks like, you know. Will he rematch Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, etc.? You know, and Dazn talking about Gerald Miller versus Trevor Bryan. I don't know who that is. I really don't know who that is. Al Haymon has 3 cards, 1 pay-per-view, and I just went over them in January. He's dominating. He's dominating that. Jose Uzcategui, Caleb Plant with Joey Spencer, possibly Rigondeaux on that card. You know, then it's Adrian Broner versus Manny Pacquiao, and Badu Jack versus Marcus Brown is likely on that card. Possibly Rigondeaux returning on that card as well. And then you have Keith Thurman versus Josecito Lopez at the Barclays Center. And I think Gerald Washington is fighting on that card. I got to look it up. But I think Gerald Washington is fighting. There was a pretty good fight for Gerald Washington on one of these cards. See, that's what I'm saying. They got so many cards. I don't even really... I don't have everything memorized. Hold on. I don't even know what this shit's called. Hold on. And the other thing is, this is on Fox for some of this shit. The Keith Thurman shit is on Fox. Oh, here it is. Look. I got the email right here. Undefeated welterweight Keith Thurman makes long-awaited ring return against Josecito Lopez on Premier Boxing Champs on Fox, January 26th. Also, Adam Kanowski versus Gerald Washington. And Rigondeaux might be on that one. He's probably going to be on one of those 3 cards. So Gerald Washington, who lost to Wilder, lost to, you know, Gerald Big Baby Miller, fighting Adam Kanowski, who, you know, maybe he looked good versus Charles Martin and stuff. And I think he knocked out Freddie Roach's fighter, heavyweight. But, you know, let's see how he does against Gerald Washington, who's always in shape, 6'6", stuff like that. You know, so in January, the competing card from Dazn on January 18th would be Gerald, from what I heard, Gerald Big Baby Miller versus Trevor Bryan, and then Demetrius Andrade versus, I don't know. But logically speaking, who do you think, like realistically, who do you think Andrade's gonna fight? And I'm not saying he won't fight, but I'm just saying who is Dazn going to create? Billy Joe Saunders is still suspended, to my knowledge. So I don't think he'll be cleared in America to fight. He's fighting. And the other thing, he just got added to the Carl Frampton host Josh Warrington card December 22nd. So you could pretty much say, even if he wasn't suspended in America, Billy Joe Saunders is not fighting on January 18th after fighting on December 22nd in the UK. Plus, I think he's suspended. So it's not going to be Andrade versus Saunders, which was scheduled. Canelo's fighting December 15th, and Andrade's a difficult style, so I don't even know. I never even hear Canelo's team mention Andrade, really, right? Walter Katandakwa already got beat, so he was the next person. Andrade and Danny Jacobs, they're friends, and they said they don't really prefer to fight each other. They're both part of the snack program. So that's 4 people he's probably not going to fight. So it's not going to be Canelo. It's not going to be Billy Joe Saunders. It's not going to be Daniel Jacobs. right? Who else is there? Daniel Jacobs. Who else? Jamal Charlo's fighting December 22nd. Both Charlos. So it's not gonna be Jamal Charlo likely, because that would involve cross promotional shit. Plus Charlos are fighting at the end of December on Fox. So I doubt they would have that quick of a turnaround and fight less than a month later against Demetrius Andrade. So who's Andrade gonna fight on this card? David Lemieux, maybe. So it's probably gonna be Andrade versus Lemieux, Andrade versus Gabe Rosado, Andrade versus Luis Cuba Arias, or something. Some guy who just happens to be ranked in the belt that he has, a WBO or something, that hasn't really been heard. Because I can't think of no big names that would be ready and available for January 18th. Block bonehead geniuses. You starting that bullshit propaganda. He said Charlo can't fight no high level competition because they all ducking. Oh, you're saying they're okay? No, don't block him. Never mind. I thought he was trying to spread a rumor that they were ducking somebody. I get what you're saying. You worded that kind of crazy though. Who is Andre gonna fight on this Gerald Miller Trevor Bryan card, which looks to be the next move? That's what I'm saying. DAZN, they need a hit. They need like a big fight. I really can't think of who Andre could fight in January 18th. That would be a huge fight. Like a big fight. And like I said, I just named all the Al Haymon's fights for January. Caleb Plant versus Jose Uzcategui, that's a good fight. Uzcategui said he's going to beat him down and then take him out of there. And he beat Andre Durrell in the submission, And he was doing pretty well in the first Andre Durrell fight before the DQ shit. Caleb Plant's coming off a hand injury, but he's sweet hands. That's my dude. He's slick in there, blah, blah, blah. So he's a real good fighter. Look good versus Porky Medina. Swift, Joey Spencer's on that card. Rigondeaux might be on that card. Broner Pacquiao, you already know what that is. Marcus Brown and Badu Jack. Awesome light heavyweight fight. I thought Badu Jack beat Adonis Stevenson. Rigondeaux might go on that card if he's not on the. That's what I'm saying. Al Haymon has such a vast stable. He could just drop people on it whenever he wants. He can just, we need more spice. We need more cowbell on this card, and then just put Rigondeaux on that. Julian J. Rock Williams going up to 160 to fight Andre, but who said he wants to do that? I never heard him say that. That's decent, but at the end of the day, who said he's willing to go up? And again, Julian J. Rock Williams, a PBC fighter. So is he gonna move up to 160, fight on a DAZN Andre card for a title? Main event. Is that what he wants to do? I don't know. He's a PBC fighter. Yep, Keith Thurman and Josito Lopez. On that card is Gerald Washington versus Adam Kanowski, a heavyweight fight at the Barclays Center. Adam Kanowski, he's developing. He looked pretty good, I was at his fight with Charles Martin. I think it was on the Danny Garcia, Sean Porter card. He looked cool in that fight. So, and obviously, like I already told you, Keith Thurman, it's not the biggest fight at welterweight, but Josecito's a warrior. He did upset Victor Ortiz. And Josecito, the other thing is, I don't know how much he has left, but, he has a good resume. He gave Maidana issues. He was giving Berto, he was arguably beating Berto, but Berto got power and, caught him. But he was boxing well in that fight. We don't know where we don't know where Keith Thurman's at with a 2-year layoff. Caleb Plant can't deal with Jose's pressure, skill, and power, late stoppage. We got to see that. Caleb Plant's slick. See, the whole goal is to not get hit with all that shit. Jaron Ennis is dope. Shout out to Philly. They got one. 147, that just opens up the market. But who's he with? He with Haymon, isn't he? That's what I'm saying, man. And then, like, you guys, y'all let people gas y'all up. I don't do that. Uzcategui's a real good fighter. Uzcategui reminds me sort of, not that he fights exactly like this person, but he reminds me of a Diego Chavez type of person. Because Diego Chavez could brawl and has some power, but he could also box too. Diego Chavez being from Argentina, Uzcategui is from Venezuela, I believe. They remind me of each other a bit. Just the fact that, like, that you can't just label them a brawler, like an all-the-way brawler, because they can box too, So we'll see. Who's face-to-face? Hugo Centeno against Andrade? I mean, he's coming off a knockout to... Shout out to my dude from Oxnard, Hugo Centeno. Again, another PBC fighter. Who knows if they want to go to a DAZN card, to fight, especially coming off of a knockout loss. If you just got knocked out your last fight in 2 rounds or whatever by Jamal Charlo, I'm sure you want to, like, test the waters and, come back right instead of just going on to a opposing network or whatever you want to call its card. You know how boxing is. Do you think Tank versus Farmer will happen by next fall? Ain't no telling. I think the fighters will fight each other. Tevin Farmer, I know him. He's down. Tank's down. It's just a matter of that DAZN. How is it going to happen? Because Tank in that equation is the A side. Tevin Farmer's done really well for himself, but Tank's also a champion. And, he's the bigger name in general. So are they going to let Tank go to DAZN? It's not like Tank needs... It's a unification, but it's not like Tank is a challenger and he has to go to that opposing network to get a belt because he already has a belt. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, Jesse Hart versus Zurdo Ramirez. That's a good fight, the rematch. See, a lot of people don't know. That's Friday. That's coming up Friday, I think, in Texas. I like the first fight. That was good. Hart says he's going to make some adjustments. So we'll see. Hart didn't do bad in the first fight, But we'll see. Zurdo. Like I said, in my opinion, someone said Canelo versus Saunders next May, cheater versus cheater. Hey, you out of pocket. You out of pocket. Like I said, it served me pretty well, if you guys know my track record on this channel, by doing just a basic forward thinking. Just think about the future. Think about, probabilities and what's likely and that type of shit. And in my eyes, from just knowing what I know about the business, I really feel DAZN. Like, name one DAZN fight that's bigger than Wilder Fury or Broner versus Pacquiao. Name one fight that they have had or they have scheduled. See, I got to keep going because y'all be taking forever and it just be slowing up the pace. Well, you guys let me know in the comment section when you guys can think of one. Like I said, to me, that's the biggest thing they're faced with. They're new and they're trying to establish themselves with a minimal stable. They don't just have like the deepest stable where they can make all things it's like the Golden State Warriors or the San Antonio Spurs in their prime versus other teams. That's the benefit of having a deep bench. If the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry, is one of the leading scorers, one of the leading, team facilitators that get shit done, shooters and shit, he could be having a horrible game, but Clay will step up. Iguodala will step up. KD will step up. So they have multiple weapons. That's the equivalent of like Al Haymon or having a deep stable. you can pull weapons from the bench and shit, you know, because you have the people. But when you have like the Cavs and then Kevin Love gets injured and you have to rely all on LeBron. That's what Dazn is. They got to rely, you know, if you want to call Canelo LeBron in terms of popularity and star power and blah, 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 or AJ, you want to call him LeBron in those terms, in terms of commercial success. Yeah, they have those people, but you have to put all your eggs in that basket and hope that, you know, whatever they're doing and whoever they're fighting is bringing enough energy and viewership to your platform. And to me, that's why I said it's like, I know for a fact from basketball, I would rather have a whole team than 2 or 3 stars. You know, I'd rather have a very good balanced team because, like I said, stars get injured, stars have off nights and shit, so you can draw. So that's what I think for DAZN. They got to build up to the point where when Canelo and AJ aren't fighting, which, you know, they probably do whatever size events that they're going to do depending on who they're fighting, you know, these other fights in between are getting enough exposure to keep people interested. But like I said, Gerald Miller, it's cool that he's been active, but they're talking about him fighting Trevor Bryan, and I don't know who that is, and I cover boxing. Do you get what I'm saying? So if they want to take the lead, they're going to have to. That's why Eddie Hearns was going after all these Errol Spences and shit like that, and Charlo, because then you can do more. But none of them went over there. Broner, Charlos, Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia, none of them went with Eddie Hearn, and none of them went to DAZN. Remember, DAZN was trying to get Mikey. This man Mikey about to be on Fox. He said, like, new media superstars compared to network hosts. Hey, we just do what we can do. You know, and then see the other downside of it, and I'm not just bagging on DAZN, I'm just opening the conversation, being real. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm telling you the realities that they're faced with right now as a new business, you know. Now, to make that even more worse, your biggest star, or one of them, between him and AJ, they're being involved in matches so far that the public haven't got all the way behind. AJ versus Povetkin did not sell out, and AJ customarily was selling out. So I think based on how the Wilder shit panned out, some people were turned off from that and weren't really feeling the Povetkin fight. Now you got Canelo, and it's his fight week against Rocky Fielding, and I'm going to watch it because this is what I do for a living, you know, and I'm a fan. I like Canelo. I'm here to report. But what I'm saying for casuals, you don't hear. Dude hit me up on Twitter. I could show you all of everything I'm saying. And what he said to me is, he's like, I didn't even request the day off at work. Like, that's a problem because, you know, if it's Canelo versus Golovkin, if Canelo was fighting Charlo or some shit, you know people would rather go to a fight party. But he was basically saying, I'm not even tripping off of Canelo Rocky Fielding. Like, damn, you rather go to work and just make money and watch the fight when you get a chance. That's how you know it's not that big of a fight. You know? Because shit, when I had a regular job, the biggest fights I'm trying to get off. If Mayweather was fighting Maidana or Ricky Hatton or something and I had to work, man, I gotta switch schedules with somebody so I could be off in time. You know, or I gotta have the day off. I'll request a day off, something, you know. But if it's not that pressing of a fight, then, you know, people are like, just another day. I'll check out Ego's post-fight recap, you know, watch some highlights. That's what it is. Fam, Canelo knows the fight ain't shit. Hey, you tripping. And TMZ even asked Oscar De La Hoya, they said, hey, no offense, but everybody thinks Canelo is going to, you know, blow this guy out and he's going to win. So something like how do you ensure that doesn't happen? So even TMZ, and I don't know how much they know about boxing, they even said it. So, Rocky Fielding, he has a hell of an opportunity because he's going to make national headlines if he beats Canelo, because they're going to put this on 30 for 30 because nobody's giving him a shot. I got to watch the Mike Tyson Buster Douglas 30 for 30, but him being named Rocky, he's going to have to do some Rocky Balboa type shit because he going to get a 30 for 30 for this because nobody's picking him. Nobody. Not like, oh, he could do good. Oh, his height can give him problem. Nobody's picking him. And see, the other thing you have to look at is Canelo fights. If they're close, you already know what judges be fucking with Canelo. And I'm not saying like it's sabotage and all this bullshit, but I'm just saying if you look historically, judges lean towards Canelo in close fights. It's all. CJ Ross somehow said that Mayweather Canelo was a draw somehow. Like, bitch, how is that a draw? Floyd dogged Canelo. That was like embarrassing. Canelo was crying. He was crying in there, or he looked like he was about to cry. I forgot. In the ring when they're announcing it, and then at the post-fight press conference, Floyd was like giving him a hug and shit. He looked like he was about to cry, bro. And CJ Ross talking about it was a draw. They did the open scoring in Texas with the Trout fight, and the fight was extremely close. And then about the 6th round or whatever, they revealed to Trout, hey, you need a knockout to win. They said you lost every single round. And he was like, what? And then people keep talking about how Austin Trout legs did a funny dance. That's because they had that open scoring bullshit, and they put in his mind that he needed a knockout to win. So he got mad aggressive. See, some of y'all don't know this type of shit because you don't know boxing. You don't look at the facts. You didn't watch the fight. You just hear what someone else said and run with it. Austin Trout, from that, the fight was really close. And when they revealed to him that they have you losing predominantly all the rounds in Texas, where boxing has given us horrific decisions like Paulie Malignaggi and Juan Diaz. That's why Paulie flipped out in Texas, because the Texas fighter, Juan Diaz, Baby Bull, somehow beat him, and Paulie really won that fight. He's like, this is why people don't like to fight in Texas. And Paulie went off. Look at Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. and Pernell Whitaker. He lost. Stop. He lost the fight. They said it was a draw. Texas has been known for these weird reffing shit and open scoring, all types of shit in boxing historically, And then from that point, Austin Trout, yeah, he got knocked down. That's because he was forced to be more aggressive, thinking, damn, every judge is against me. Every judge has me losing. So I got to produce something big, knockdowns and or a knockout. You know what I'm saying? And then he got caught. Canelo's a counterpuncher. He got caught, and his legs did the splits and all that, and that's what people remember. But I remember the fight. That open scoring is bullshit. Man, they need to get rid of that bullshit. The fighters and the team shouldn't know what the scorecards are. That's ridiculous. Because Canelo, if you watch that fight, Canelo, he knew he was up. So all he had to do was not get knocked out. So he was just comfortable, blocking. And he like damn near even gave up some rounds because he knew all he had to do is be standing, and he won the fight. So he actually, after the knockdown, he just coasted it. That's some bullshit. I want to see both fighters fight to the last drop, as if they need a knockout to win, as if they need, each round. Imagine if Tyson Fury and Wilder, they told Tyson, hey, all 3 judges have you winning the first 9 rounds, so just don't get knocked out. Then the fight wouldn't have been all dramatic because Tyson Fury is just going to, he could give away 2 rounds if they already have you winning 9 rounds. Open scoring is some stupid shit, bro. But anyway, Canelo, you always got to damn near fight with the judges in Canelo fights. That's just historically. Since he's been the superstar, Erislandy Lara beat Canelo in my eyes. Levi Martinez had a wide for Canelo, 117-111. Triple G beat Canelo in the first fight, I thought. It was close, closer than people made it seem. But I thought Triple G won. They gave a draw to Canelo, So, realistically, Rocky Fielding is not this immense puncher from what I've seen. And he's going to probably need a knockout or a dominant performance to win. If it's close, how's he gonna beat Canelo on the scorecards? You get what I'm saying? Now the only like, I guess, silver lining or whatever you want to call it is he's not the biggest puncher fighting other super middleweights. So, maybe his punching power, if somehow his punching power is adequate enough to affect Canelo, who has otherwise showed a pretty good chin, but Canelo is coming off of two tough fights with Golovkin. So, that's the only thing, is if that super middleweight power is, different. Because you got to understand, in boxing, it's one thing if your power is manageable against other people your size, super middleweight, but if you have a guy coming up, they might not be able to handle your power. So I guess that's the only, intrigue or whatever. If Canelo was naturally a super middleweight, then, this fight would be even worse. But the fact that Rocky Fielding is as big as he is, and Canelo is moving up 8 pounds, that's the only bit of saving grace. But even that's not that much, because he fought 164.5 against Julio Cesar Chavez, and he's sparring against BELOEW Akawi for the last couple of camps. So he's already sparring with super middleweights. He sparred with Shabransky, a light heavyweight. So I'm pretty sure Canelo's team knows that he can at least hold his own, between the sparring, even with headgear, against light heavyweights and super middleweights, and then sparring or having a fight with Chavez at 164.5. So, anyway, Dazn needs to get a big fight cracking, especially if Eddie Hearn's comments are gonna come true. Showtime's going out of business. You're gonna have to put out better fights than Showtime. How are you gonna put something out of business that people already have been using and have, and unless you're putting out something that makes people switch and get rid of one? See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all be letting these people just gas you up. Like, I had Showtime before I had DAZN. So how's Showtime gonna go out of business? Now I gotta make a conscious effort to cancel Showtime because I've already had it. I've already been using it last, I don't even know how long. I've been had Showtime. So the only reason I would cancel is if they start putting out bullshit. I've already had it this long. So if they start putting out horrible fights, then you would consider it. But it's not, like I said, Eddie Hearn, that comment was delusional. It's not that easy. Just like Eddie Hearn thought it would be easy to come to America and just take over because he's good at the UK fights. UK is a totally different market. You're battling different stuff. You don't have to. UK doesn't. Do they have a UK league like that's as big as the NHL? You got to deal with hockey. You got to deal with golf. Tiger Woods was just on pay-per-view in America. His golf thing. You got to deal with NBA, MLB, World Series, Super Bowls, NFL. I mean, it's different. Love and hip hop or some bullshit. You don't know what the fuck is going to be on out here. Soccer is big in the UK. Yeah, but that's one independent thing. And they be using soccer stadiums for boxing events. So people are familiar with that stadium. Like, oh, okay, there's a boxing event there? Okay. It's different in America, trust me. Anyway, we'll see how it all plays out. I'm optimistic. I'm gonna wait and see how it all plays out. I can't wait. I can't wait to see. The more, I don't care who's doing what. Everyone can try their hand at boxing. The more the merrier. There's more fights for us. I just gotta be realistic on what I've seen. And for a Canelo fight, name another Canelo fight that felt this like quiet to you in recent memory since Canelo, post Canelo Mayweather. I can't think of one. So, they're going to have to step up the promotional tactics or something because, it's being on a stream only, just having ads. Sometimes you have to hit the ground running with the promotion. Just throwing on ads, that's not, going to be the only thing. Liam Smith. I don't know, though, because Liam Smith had 51,000 people there. I still feel like the Liam Smith had a little bit more promotion behind it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. And I follow like HBO boxing and stuff, and I would see them posting a lot of pictures and shit. Because I remember Gabe Rosado fought on the card. I think Saddam Ali. We'll see how it plays out. Anyway, I just want to do this quick one. I want to just put an hour in. I got some stuff to work on. I'm just getting real organized, back on my grind, on my grizzly. So I got to time some of these streams. Peace out. I might do a vampire stream depending on if y'all want it. We just talk about different topics. Holla at the boy.